When we are stressed or anxious,
When we are stressed or anxious,
we ask our family, friends, doctors, and even Google.
we ask our family, friends, doctors, and even Google.
And even Google what to do to relieve stress.
What to do to relieve stress?
Many popular suggestions are watch a movie,
Many popular suggestions are watch a movie,
go shopping, exercise, drink, or change jobs.
go shopping, exercise, drink, or change jobs.
But let's think about these suggestions.
But let's think about these suggestions.
In Korea, there is a saying that
In Korea, there is a saying that one eats or consumes minds.
eats or consumes minds. What does this mean?
What does this mean?
Let's take a look at Jane.
Let's take a look at Jane.
When she's born into the world,
When she's born into the world,
she's like this empty jar.
she's like this empty jar.
One day, Jane scribbles all over the wall with her crowns and her
One day, Jane scribbles all over the wall with her crayons.
the wall with her crowns, and her mom yells at her.
And the mom yelled at her. Jane consumes a mind of anger.
Consumes a mind of anger. Then she is playing outside when a huge
Then she is playing outside when a huge pit bull
bull suddenly
runs into her and bites her.
to her and bites her. She swallows a mind of fear.
She swallows a mind of fear.
At school, her math teacher calls on her.
At school, her math teacher called on her,
But she can't answer the
but she can't answer the question.
question. Her classmates snicker, and Jane swallows
Classmates snicker and Jane swallows.
insecurity and humiliation.
Insecurity and humiliation.
As she goes about her life, for every situation,
As she goes about life for every situation,
she consumes different minds.
she consumes different minds.
As each day passes, ball after ball of varying colors and
As each day passes, ball after ball of varying colors.
as each day passes, ball after ball of varying colors and sizes fills
the jar.
the jar. After time, it is harder to contain these balls.
After time, it is harder to contain these balls.
Let's take a look at how these minds affect Jane.
Let's take a look at how these minds affect Jane.
Jane begins working with a condescending coworker.
Jane begins working with the condescending coworker.
Jane begins working with a condescending coworker. At first, his behavior doesn't bother her too much.
At first, his behavior doesn't bother her too much
Because it's one red ball.
because it's one red ball.
But after the 100th time of rude treatment,
But after the 100th time of rude treatment,
she explodes.
she explodes.
Why?
Why?
When you look at the isolated
When you look at the isolated event,
event, the first time he yells,
the first time he yells versus the 100th time
versus the 100th time is actually the
is actually the same.
same. But why is the 100th time so much harder
But why is the 100th time so much harder for Jane?
for Jane? The 100th time, not only is Jane
The 100th time, not only Jane swallowing another red ball,
swallowing another red ball, but his yelling
but his yelling is simultaneously shaking the jar
simultaneously shaking the jar and provoking those past
past 99 balls to surface.
99 balls to surface. When her mind is filled with
When her mind is filled too many negative thoughts and emotions,
too many negative thoughts and emotions, she finds it difficult to control
she finds it difficult to control that overflow.
that overflow. Jane tries to find peace by simply going for a walk.
Jane tries to find peace by simply going for a walk
Or grabbing drinks with friends.
or grabbing drinks with friends.
Or she even tries to switch to a different team
Or she even tries to switch to a different team
to avoid this coworker. When she changes her external
When she changes her external situation
situation and the jar is
and the jar is not disturbed,
not disturbed, she feels calm and happy.
she feels calm and happy.
That's why she can enjoy the fresh air
That's why she can enjoy the fresh air
during that walk.
during that walk or laugh with friends at the restaurant.
Or laugh with friends at the restaurant. But when there's a stressful situation,
But when there is a stressful situation
that starts shaking the jar,
that starts shaking the jar,
for example, the coworkers yelling,
for example, the coworkers yelling,
those negative balls that were hidden
those negative balls that were hidden beneath
come back to the surface,
come back to the surface,
changing her external condition or distracting
changing her external condition or distracting herself
herself is a temporary
is a temporary solution.
solution. Instead, she tries meditation this time. Solution. Instead, she tries meditation
Instead, she tries meditation this time.
this time. She cleans away those internal thoughts and emotions
She cleans away those internal thoughts and emotions,
which are the cause of the stress in the first place.
which are the cause of the stress in the first place.
In this way, she becomes free of her mind.
In this way, she becomes free of her minds,
The minds that control her.
the minds that control her.
Another encounter with her coworker is just one new event.